Hi everyone, my name is Dan Hogan. I'm one of the first year fellows at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York City. I think coronavirus has been an interesting experience for all of us. I remember being on vacation when my wife and I first heard of this, and we weren't really sure what it was going to turn into or whether it was even going to come to the US. And it wasn't very long after we returned that no one could get their hands on a roll of toilet paper. Shortly thereafter, we were in the GI office talking about our response to the pandemic. We stripped away a lot of the outpatient endoscopic procedures and we're really only focusing on inpatient emergencies. And in an effort to limit any unnecessary exposures, we wanted to only have one fellow in the hospital at any given time if possible. As I was supposed to be on service anyways, I pulled the short straw. But as I'm sure happened with a lot of hospitals in the area, people tended to stop coming into the hospital unless they absolutely had to, so we weren't particularly busy. I remember this mounting stress. There was trying to figure out how big this wave of patients was going to be, whether or not we were prepared, whether or not we had enough PPE, if there were enough ventilators, and whether we'd be looking at a situation like the videos we saw in Italy. As time went on, the ICU census did expand, probably from an average of 12 to 16 patients to well over 80 on any given day. Our friends in the pulmonary critical care and cardiology fellowships were stretched pretty thin managing these ICUs. We did volunteer. A lot of us, I think almost all of our GI attendings and fellows at some point worked as hospitalists. This was definitely a new experience for me. I went directly from residency into fellowship, so I've never not had that safety net there before. Luckily it went okay. Happy my turn is done for right now, but we'll see how this plays out over the next couple weeks. That said, it does seem to be that we're on the decline of this curve, which is great. A lot of our overflow units and overflow ICUs are shutting down. People are starting to return to normal, though we're still trying to figure out what normal is. And last week, Lenox Hill discharged their 1,000th coronavirus patient, which is really a big deal considering this has only been about 2 months. So it's really shown how much it's taken over our hospital. It's been great to see the response from residents, fellows, NPs, PAs, attendings from every service in the hospital. Many of them were redeployed working on medical teams, and those who weren't, who realized it wasn't their particular strong suit, were trying to figure out what they could do to help everyone else. And so a lot of the surgery residents went through and developed a line team, and you could call them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so the ICU teams could focus on caring for the patients. You'd call the line team. They'd come in and place your central line, your femoral line, arterial lines, whatever you needed. The orthopedic residents also wanted to volunteer their time, and while they openly acknowledged they weren't very good at managing ventilators, they did want to help, so they formed a proning team where they'd go and don their PPE and go room to room, proning our ARDS patients to help them breathe a little better. So it was kind of awesome to see that response from everybody. Late in March, we started hearing this applause from the rooftops and balconies and windows of people on the Upper East Side here in New York, and that has just grown and continued every night at 7 p.m. There is undoubtedly every night a huge showing of the NYPD and FDNY and a big show of solidarity, and there's been a massive influx of community support as well, with donations of food, PPE, in some cases skincare products, because people are seeing what wearing an N95 all day and every day can do to your face. We've seen a lot of innovation as well. I know a lot of you guys are using Zoom or GoToMeeting or some other video chatting platform for your regular conferences. Some of the local and national societies are using these. We're using them to keep in touch with our family and friends. I've seen more of my family and college buddies in the last 2 months than I probably have in the last 2 years. My wife is fully functional working from home, and when I'm not in the hospital, I'm here working on presentations or participating in these things. Become very appreciative of the fact we just have 2 cats here as opposed to my sister and brother-in-law back in Chicago who have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old that they're stuck inside with all day every day, and you just see them screaming, running by in the background of every video chat we have. I do miss normal. I miss endoscopies. I miss colonoscopies. I feel like I just started doing them as a first year and was just getting comfortable doing everything. I don't know what normal is going to be when things get back, but I'm excited to get to that point. We're trying to figure out now how to open our endoscopy unit, how to restart these elective procedures, what the safest way for everybody to do that is. We're trying to utilize video capsule endoscopy a lot more to help risk stratify, if nothing else. I miss going out to bars and restaurants. I miss seeing my friends. But when it's all over, I'm excited for those things to come back, and if nothing else, hit Dr. Carlock up for one of those Litchi martinis. Take care, everybody. Stay safe.